I was assuming you were going to do it, but I can say welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 453, recorded on November 16th, 2023. On tonight's episode, we talk about Game Award nominations, this week's Indie World, and we are on Mario RPG Eve. Jesse, you know what to do.
I don't know why you thought I was going to do it. I never do it.
He was talking to me.
Oh,
just said I thought I was going to do it because he wrote it out.
And I realized as I was busy doing something completely different, and there was no sound at all. And I looked up, I was like, oh no, we didn't communicate that at all.
It happens to the best of us.
Episodes in, and we still can't get our poop in a group.
Yeah, poop in a group. I'm going to start using that. That's a good. That's good.
You don't. That's not a saying in the South. Poop in a group.
No, that's a good. That sounds though like a good upper Midwestern saying, like, oh, you can get your poop in a group, don't you know?
Yeah, get your poop in a group now, boys.
As the former Minnesotan, I've never heard of that either.
I didn't say I was from Minnesota. You made some context.
Marty suggested it.
I did. It sounds like a good thing that you follow up with, don't you know, or sure look it.
Sure look it. They
didn't have their poop in a group.
Don't you know? I know.
Yeah,
don't you know now, boys?
So for some reason, I feel like poop in a group now has to be our show title. Just
poop in a group.
Poop in a group. Speaking of poop in a group, you're listening to episode 453 of Nintendo Dads, and we've got a group of poop here for you tonight around the microphone, and we're just going to hash out some great Nintendo news from this week, including the Indie Direct and Game Award nominations or lack thereof, and lots of news and release updates. But before we do that, let's go around the horn here and introduce everybody. Justin Masson, we've already heard from you. You've already forgotten stuff. You're already not paying attention. It's just a normal episode of Nintendo Dads for you.
Yeah, I'm opening. I'm literally like, oh, I don't have the Manscaped ad open. I need to do that. Oh, I need to message Casey to do something. I'm doing that. I'm rescheduling our YouTube content. Listen. Someone's got to keep this business alive, all right? And apparently I've got to hustle.
I appreciate your dedication to it all. I really do. We don't tell you enough that we're thankful for you. We just typically
how pretty I am.
Throw you under the bus when you're not listening.
How pretty I am.
That doesn't have anything to do with how pretty you are.
No, come on now.
But pretty refers to Mr. Tim Off, all the way up there from the Great White North. Not quite as Great White North as Justin, but it's close.
Timmy, you got snow on the ground yet?
Nope. We did one day, I think on or around Halloween. A little tease there.
You guys have snow. We have 80-degree weather in November.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I do have spiked eggnog.
Oh,
I'm ready.
Hold up.
I'm ready.
Hold up, sir. Sir, did you clear that with customs?
The HR team?
Did you clear that?
Did we
sorry,
HR at 7 o'clock?
I know that we talked about Little Debbie's and Big Deborah's last week. Did we talk about boiled custard yet? Have we talked about that?
I'm sorry, what?
Boiled custard. So here in the South, we have eggnog like everyone else does, which is disgusting and gross. But we also have God's gift to your taste buds, boiled custard. Prairie Farms is the brand that we get here in West Tennessee. It tastes like someone melted vanilla ice cream and put it in a bottle for you to drink and enjoy at home. My kids call it, and they have called it since they were little, Santa milk, which has its own weird connotations if you think about it. But Santa milk is delicious, and it's best enjoyed, Tim, your glass reminded me, it's best enjoyed out of a moose head glass, like in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, since we're at that time of year.
But they sound the same. You said eggnog is disgusting, but they sound the same.
No. Eggnog has spices in it. Yes. And eggs. This has.
Do y'all have booster juice in the United States?
What?
Booster juice.
No, I've never heard.
We have electrolytes.
In my life.
So booster juice in
we
Canada,
have a 5-hour energy.
We have Pedialyte.
All right, so booster juice in Canada is like it's a smoothie shop you go to, right? And so they're all
I'm
about what they
Googling this right now. I feel like
All
you're
right.
lying to me.
No, Booster Juice Canada. Type it in. And like
Sean Capri confirms it is delicious.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I appreciate you being here. You know what they have this time of year is the eggnog Booster Juice. And let me tell
says
you,
Orange Julius is way better.
shut your mouth,
Orange
Sean
Julius
Capri.
is fantastic. Yes. Why does Booster Juice look like a reject from the late 80s, early 90s?
Why you gotta hate on the Booster Juice?
Well, this I'm sure that you drink your Booster Juice while you're letting your backbone slide.
Wow. Well, would you not now? Would you not? Right. But I'm going to tell you, they have an eggnog Booster Juice. For obviously it's limited time, much like pumpkin spice lattes.
Sure.
Oh, I misread what Sean said. He says it's better than Orange Julius.
Then I take back my threatening commentary to Mr. Capri. You have been redeemed, sir.
We have a place in America that maybe is like this. It's called Smoothie King.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm feeling like that. Like this is the Canadian version. Like it's the same company. It's just up there. They're like, yeah, the Canadians, they really like to call it Booster Juice. So
Booster Juice is already winning if they have eggnog. So I definitely
eggnog. Yeah, I do not like eggnog under normal circumstances, but once a year I will have an eggnog Booster Juice.
Okay, that's fair.
French kiss. I'm happy. Then I'm like, I am done with the eggnog. Thank you.
That's all I needed.
That's all I need. I just need the one. It's sort of like at Thanksgiving for us. And I know Thanksgiving is literally a week away for you Americans, right? But I will have one piece, maybe two, of pumpkin pie, and I am good and done.
Can I go ahead and do this? When you get the pumpkin pie, do you cover all sides in whipped cream?
Do you not? How would you not? Of course you do.
Because there's some people who eat that stuff naked. Like they just go into and it's just pie.
I do eat it naked.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just stand in front of my fridge and I just eat it right out of the container. Sometimes
it
drips.
There it is. There's a mental image.
I need to tell you what I spiked.
Eyes, the goggles, they do nothing.
Yes, Timothy.
I spiked this with maple bourbon.
Maple. That sounds delicious.
That makes it HR approved.
Well, also speaking of getting the taste, let's get a taste. Jesse Waldack, how you doing over there?
Good. So you're all like throwing out these oddball food items I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
So I thought of one that might be new to you all. It's called clotted cream.
That already sounds. Like something that my grandparents drank.
It's not a drink. It's kind of like it starts with you make it out of cream, but you condense it down to almost like a butter, and it's used in as a topping for scones in Europe.
Clotted cream is amazing. Big thing obviously in the UK, EU. Right on scones.
And now I'm going to look up a little bit of jelly,
or clotted cream and a bit of jam. Oh my gosh!
Here's the deal. Like just the name of it is not good.
It doesn't sound good, but it is. It is great.
And
my wife makes homemade clotted cream when she's making stuff for her friend who I think was born and raised in London. So nice. Her house. She's very, very traditional English lady.
Speaking of scones, I'm going to throw this one at you. Jody makes an amazing bacon maple scones.
Does she ship? Does she ship them?
She should. And I tell you, they're game changing.
Can she ship them to
bacon
West
put it in
Tennessee?
there, and then there's a maple glaze that's sent over it. Mwah, French kiss. Let me tell you.
Okay, so here's what I want to know. We're going to move on because this is weird at this point, kind of. But I would love to know, our listeners out there, if you have some kind of holiday dish that's maybe a little strange. Maybe it's a regional thing, like Justin's got bacon maple scones. We've got clotted cream. We've got a spiked eggnog, whatever. We would love to know those. I would love to know all of those because this run of 2 months is my favorite time of the year. Absolutely magical, the best time of the year. The Christmas tree at my house is up. Christmas music is playing. Thanksgiving, I celebrate Christmas November 1st through November 22nd. Then we celebrate Thanksgiving the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Then we celebrate Christmas November 26th through December 25th.
See, this is like, listen, I appreciate you for that, but this is what your country's doing wrong. You know what I mean? Like you are buffeting this all in like 4 weeks. That's too much. You've got Thanksgiving and then you got Christmas. You're less than 4 weeks away. You got to have some space. You got to be able to digest it and relax a bit, you know?
Still, like Halloween is the gateway drug to the rest of the year's holidays. All right. It really is. Like there's that month lead up to Halloween, and then it's like Halloween, bam, Thanksgiving, bam, Christmas, bam, New Year's, bam. And it's just wonderful.
We're doing it right.
And then January, you got
October,
a little bit
Halloween,
of
Halloween, end of October. Maybe to celebrate American Thanksgiving, you got another one. Then you got Christmas. We have spaced ourselves accordingly.
Yeah,
but also, I don't need to see the same people 4 weeks later.
Can you imagine if you had a family? And I'm sure my family did at one point because we're from Canada.
Yes.
But there was like, you got half your family or your in-laws over in Canada, and then your family and your parents are over here in the US. So you got to celebrate both Thanksgivings.
Monsters, because they know the only true Thanksgiving is, of course, the Canadian Thanksgiving. Hey, Marty, what about the news today?
Yeah, let's dive straight into the news now, shall we? And our news, of course, is brought to us by you non-monstrous people over at patreon.com/NintendoDads, where for as little as $1 a month, you get to join up and come into the Discord and tell Justin why having Thanksgiving on a Monday is wrong and an abomination.
We celebrate on Sunday. We should the holiday off on the Monday.
Whatever. Anyway, you can head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads if you haven't already and join up. If you sign up for the year subscription at the $1, $5, $10, $30 level, any of those levels, you get your 12th month for free, or you can sponsor us by the month if you just want to sponsor for a little time or whatever. You can do whatever you want to do over there. It's literally Zombocom over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. And we would value, and we do value all of our patrons. We would value you joining up with us over there. It helps keep the lights on here, helps us do special things like send Justin to Nintendo Live or do Extra Life in New York like we did last year. And speaking of Extra Life, I just want to take a little personal moment here and say thank you to each and every one of you guys who hung out with me last Saturday, watched the stream, watched me build Lego, watched me play some video games, and helped me break through that $1,000 goal I had. And we've got 6 codes to give away, video game codes, and we'll be contacting our winners very soon. We'll draw for those. If you donated, you're in the prize pool to win. And you could win a copy of Kiwi or Haunted House or Days of Doom or one of my favorite games, Trombone Champ. We've got a code for that as well. And so
purposely did not give that one away because I knew you would want to.
I really look. I almost played it on stream, but I was losing. It was Spider-Man time, so I had to play that, and I'll talk about Spider-Man a little bit later in the show. But anyway, head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads and join up and be a patron of the show if you want to.
Sean says he missed Justin sleeping this year, so
yeah, I got nothing for you on that one. I was definitely sleeping while these guys were streaming. Right? Listen, I'm getting to be old. Like I cannot do this every single year. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't. I gotta
they have 24 hours. You got to recoup a whole year.
It takes me 2. Really takes me 2.
I will be honest with you. 12 hours, just the 12 hour just about did me in. I went home and I just like sit and stared at a wall for 3 hours until I went to sleep. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know. Anyway, okay. So kicking off our headlines this week, more information about Super Mario RPG has been revealed, and Super Mario RPG is out. If you're watching us, it's out tomorrow. If you're listening to us, it's already out. So you can go and get it digitally or get a physical copy. It's a fantastic game. It's developed by Art Piazza. This is a dev that generally works on new games and ports using Square Enix IP, including the Romancing Saga series, the Dragon Quest series, where they worked on 2D portions of Dragon Quest 11S, worked on the 3D and mobile ports of 7, and worked on the DS and mobile ports of 4, 5, and 6. Their first game was the Super Famicom port of Dragon Quest III. It was developed in Unity, which is interesting, considering all the stuff that went on around that just a little bit ago. It is sitting right now at 83, and I'm guessing that, Jesse, since you put it in the notes, is on Metacritic.
That was, I think it was Justin that, or someone. I didn't add that one.
This guy.
Justin added
literally added that as you started talking.
Okay. Yeah. So 83 right now on Metacritic, which, yeah, that's a pretty good score.
That's kind of where I thought it would land. I didn't think it'd be in the 90s. You know,
someone was asking.
It's a remake.
That's true. And it's a very fateful remake. And I want to be clear about that. It's like what we've seen, and you can go check out our early impressions that we got to have with Nintendo. You can go check that video out on YouTube. It's got some B-roll footage and a fight with Croco and all kinds of stuff. It's very, very, very faithful to the original game, that basically the updated graphics and music with some UI streamlines and quality of life updates and the triple attacks. That's about it. That's all the new. However, I'll say this. I saw someone asking on a Facebook group, I think it was an MVC voice chat Facebook group. They said, I've got a voucher. Mario RPG's out. I don't have anything else to use it on. I'm a fan of turn-based RPGs. Should I get Mario RPG? Here's what I would say to that. I've not, and this is me, I've not played the game yet, but having played Mario RPG back in the day extensively, I can say this. If you like turn-based RPGs, you will love this game. It embraces I know we have friends from the Keep Nintendo Weird show. It embraces a weirdness in the Mario lore and Mario IP that we haven't seen in a while before Wonder. And so I would definitely check it out. I think that it should be on your list. And so, yeah, Mario RPG. It's going to be good. I am
excited to play this tomorrow. I completely did not play it when it was out on the Super Nintendo. Remind me, and maybe someone keep me honest here, is it available on the SNES Mini?
Yes.
I think it is.
Okay.
That's the only place.
Yeah. And
I don't think, did it ever get Virtual Console?
It did, yes, because we played it originally on a Virtual Console when we did a retro rewind a very, very long time ago. Right, Jesse?
Yeah, I think it was on the Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was on the 3DS. I think I have it on the 3DS.
Let's go look it up. We'll find out. Super Mario.
Hey,
RPG.
Speaking of, if you're
might have been both.
Might have been both, right? If you're a fan of Super Mario RPG, just a reminder as well. Nintendo Nintendo Online, the icons that you can update and change Mario RPG is now available for you to do that as well. So if you like changing your icons, they now have Mario RPG ones that just came out today.
Here you go, Justin.
For you to set
here's your answer. Super Mario RPG was released on the Wii Virtual Console service in 2008. Which was its debut in Europe and Australia, and later for the Wii U's Virtual Console in 2015.
So it never got to the DS?
Never came out on 3DS.
I could have swore that was where I played it.
It never came out. And I'm sure if it did, it would have been one of those only available on new Nintendo 3DS.
Because Super Nintendo Virtual Console was only on the new 3DS.
Yep. Gotcha. So go play Super Mario RPG. That's my and Jesse, I think you're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show, right?
A little bit.
Okay. Excellent.
I have played about an hour and a half.
Great.
Because he's a witch and he's from the future.
He is. He's a time traveling. He is actually, Justin, he is the new Doctor.
Yeah.
He is Parthis Hardis.
Or for callback for all of those. Oh, come on. Go boo. Boo. Or for those of you that are like way back Nintendo Dads fans, let me just bust this one out. Jesse, get in the DeLorean. We got to go back, Doc. We got to go back and see if Mario RPG is still worth playing, Doc. Let's go.
It's been a while since we've done that voice.
Oh, I'm struggling for a bit there.
It sounds like it sounded painful.
It did. It's been a long time.
Marty, we've got to go back. We've got to go back, Marty.
Speaking of, that's out on Power Wash Simulator. I know today.
I know. It
is paid DLC. It isn't free.
Yeah, I know. I've not bought it yet.
I played it at PAX West, and it's good enough that I might just be buying Power Wash Simulator.
I will tell you, my son proudly handed me his VR headset the other day, as Quest and said, "Hey, Dad, I want you to play something." And I opened it up, and he had bought Power Wash Simulator VR for
Wow.
me.
You know what?
For me,
Listen. I don't say this a lot. I think you're doing all right as a parent, Marty. You know what I'm saying? I think you're doing all right.
He shows me that I am a lot, and so I'm very thankful for him. Here's something else I'm very thankful for. We actually have news to talk about this week because not one but two big events happened this week. Indie World showed up out of the blue on 11/14, and then earlier this week we also had Game Awards nominations. And so let's just jump in and talk about these, shall we? Indie World is, of course, Nintendo's direct style presentation that only shows off indies. And they released their newest one this week with what I thought was a lot of games. I was not able to watch it live due to having some obligations. And so I was following along on Twitter, and I didn't think that they actually had shown very much because they were having trouble keeping up on Twitter. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different games shown
18
off.
games in 20 minutes, folks.
Yeah,
You
it
do
was
the math.
super fast. So let's talk about this guy. What impressed you during this direct? Like what are some games that stuck out to you? And then as usual, I would say let's say what kind of grade do you think where would you place this on a grading scale for Indie Directs? So Justin, I see you dancing over there.
Yeah, I'll give you the rundown because I watched it live, right? Did a live reaction, did not stream it live, but recorded live. And so you can check out my reactions. A couple things that I will call out that I thought were really quite good ladies and gentlemen, our 3-year journey, our national nightmare, ladies and gentlemen, is just about over because finally we actually officially have a release date for Outer Wilds on the Nintendo Switch. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause to finally happening. Why am I being a facetious pain in the ass about this? Is the fact that they announced this nearly 3 years ago. February, I had to go back and look at it. 2021 is when this was announced. And I was doing a live reaction. I had to go back and find the clip. I looked much thinner and much happier back then. All right. But I found it and I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, please say out today. Oh, it's not out today. 3 years later. What does this mean? This means Nintendo Dads just turned 9. Congratulations. Recently, a third of my Nintendo Dad's career has been pining for this game to finally show up.
It could be worse. It could be Prime 4, right, Tim?
Oh, shots fired. Ouch. That's unfortunate. So Outer Wilds, and they did indeed do the thing that I thought they were going to do, which they are also rolling out the Archaeologist Edition, which is sort of like their deluxe additional bundle, which I'm going to suspect is probably the reason it took a bit longer. So definitely Outer Wilds coming on December 5th. It has
you can buy either one, just straight up Outer Wilds.
If you want to pay $20, or if you want to pay $30 to get the whole thing.
Yeah. And I apologize. That was December 7th. I apologize.
Can I ask why, I watched the footage of this on the direct and it didn't look good.
Yeah, I'm going to be really honest.
I just want to ask, why should I be excited about this game? Because so far it's flown under my radar. Only time I've ever heard about it is when you've talked about it. Yeah. What is the big deal about this game?
Before you answer that, I want to say this. Why are we still asking that question? For games that we know we can play somewhere else, but then end up coming to the Switch.
Why? What, does it look so bad?
So no. Why ask this question? We know what the answer is if you want to play it, if it looks better somewhere else, go play it there.
I'm asking this is I don't even know what this game is about. What do you do? What are you doing? What's the big deal about it?
All right. Sorry. The question sounded like you said, why should I play here on the Switch?
No. I'm talking about I have
why am I hyped for it?
Yeah. Why are you hyped for this?
So I think, and this is funny because I got to a point I was like, it became an existential crisis. I was like, why am I excited for this game? I don't even remember why anymore. Right. But I would say that the interesting thing about Outer Wilds is it had a lot of hype and buzz in 2020, 2021. If I'm being completely honest with it, there was a lot of talk about kind of it's a time loop essentially, right? You have I think 22 minutes to solve and explore and mysteries, and so it sort of plays, I think, sort of like that Majora's Mask tension and how far you can get and the storylines around it. So that it's that time loop idea and allows for this kind of exploration in different paths. And so it really, like, I don't know if there's anything that like blows your mind around it, but I think there's just that like.
But you liked it, like when you first saw it, you said,
when I first saw it, I was like
something.
This looks very interesting to me. I love this idea of like this like time loop challenge that I have to try and solve the problem, figure out what's going on, go a little bit further, put these pieces together. That really interests me. I did play it on the Xbox, by the way. I think there's actually footage of me when I played on Game Pass or something like that. And I thought, yeah, this is pretty interesting. Excited for it to come to Switch. So I'm just finally excited to actually dig into it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But in 2020, Outer Wilds was a big deal. Like a lot, like it got a lot of, I think we even checked, got a fair good amount of game nominations, I believe, as well. Like it was really kind of like the indie talk of the town. So I would say that.
Yeah.
Other games that I thought were great, Braid Anniversary Edition is coming to the Nintendo Switch. If you haven't played Braid, that's something to take a look at. Planet of Lana coming in spring of 2024. I played that on Xbox, and that is absolutely fantastic.
Did they even show this in the presentation, or was it just a tweet later?
No, it was in the presentation.
It was like the montage at the end.
Montage, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Moonstone Island. Moonstone Island just came out recently on pretty much every other platform, and they were all like, yeah, we'll give you a Switch update eventually. This is a very heavy, like, looks like Stardew Valley and a deck builder. Like there's it looks great. So I'm super excited for that. I also think a Highland song looked really good. When that came through, I was like, oh, Highland song looked very much like it was inspired by Oxenfree. If you look at a little bit of sort of the gameplay functionality, sort of even the text bubbles that come up. So that one definitely caught my attention. I think those Core Keeper actually interested me as well. Like those are 6 games right there. Oh, Blade
Blade Chimera?
Yeah, Blade Chimera. Thank you very much. I was like, Chimera? Yeah, that's not right.
Team Chris?
Yeah. So I think like this was an indie world where I'd give it like a solid B+. Everything doesn't have to be there for me. There were games I liked, and there were games I didn't like, and that's exactly what I was expected. There are games that I am excited to play in 2024, and that's exactly what they need to do. That's their objective.
Yeah,
they did their job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and some that's good. We'll talk about that. I'll make my comment here in a minute. Jesse, Tim, what about you?
I'll let Tim go
stuck out
first.
to you?
He has more games, I think, than I do.
Well, Justin mentioned most of them, so that I'm interested in too. So, but Blade Chimera is definitely one I'm interested in. Is a Metroidvania. But what really struck out to me for that game was, one, you are controlling a demon that is a sword, and 2, it uses time to restore the environment, elements in the environment. So those elements plus those things about the game, and plus being Metroidvania, I was very interested in that. Plus the visuals look really cool. Howl, of course, before we started the show, I actually did a first look at that just to get a taste of what that game was about, and shared that with on our channel. So we'll get that going. That'll be out soon, that video there. But that one intrigued me because of it being a tactics game. And the premise of it, plus it looks beautiful, by the way. They call it like living ink or something like that, I think, the design. And it's turn-based tactical game, and it's on a grid, and you use cards to battle or make your move. So it's not just moving on the grid, but then if you don't make your full 6 moves, you can make 5 moves and then shoot or something like that, or things like that. So, and it has a skill tree where you can upgrade your weapons or your movements or whatever like that. But again, I only did the first play of it. There is a demo, so that was cool. That was one of the things they announced during the showcase. One of 2 games that said there would be a demo today when it was showing. It was that and Death Trick Double Blind. They both have demos. That was another one that looked interesting, but I don't know if I'll get that one. We'll see when that comes out in 2024. But yeah, Howl, and then Core Keeper was interesting to me because of it kind of looked a little bit like the Moonstone Island thing in a little bit there. But the thing that stuck out to me the most about Core Keeper was that you can join up with 7 other people, so 8 players online. You can play that, kind of do multi-battle and collecting and all that kind of stuff. So it looked interesting. I'm interested in learning more about that. And then of course Shantae's Advance Risky Revolution. And I think Jesse's going to talk about that one, so I'll pass it on to him.
Yeah, Shantae is one of the 2 games I'm interested in from all this. And we've talked about that Shantae game before. It was originally developed for the GBA, got shelved, and then came back 20 years later to finish, and they're pushing it on. I think it'll be on all systems, but including the Switch. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be 2024. And the other game I'm interested in is On Your Tail. So it sounded like kind of like a little mystery adventure type of game with anthropomorphic animals as characters.
I like that one too. The cutscenes
also 2024.
The cutscenes look good on that one, and plus the board game aesthetic of it, that certain shots of it had, was really cool with that and the clue cards. So that looked really intriguing on that mechanic.
Yeah.
And you can fish in it too. So
So a couple of thoughts that I have. Oh, but what did you guys think about as far as a grade for this?
A B. I think it was well balanced. Give a little bit of everything for everybody, I guess. Maybe not everybody, because there's probably things in there that was missing that people would want. But overall, I think it was balanced. It wasn't like overly farm simulating or life simulating. There was quite a few, but it was still balanced, I thought. So I give it a B.
Yeah, and normally in these, and I say this every time, there's normally only 1 or 2 games I'm interested in anyway. So it kind of met my this is average quota. So I'll give it a C, maybe C plus.
Okay. So there were a couple of games that stuck out to me. Most of them you've already mentioned. Shantae reminded me that I've not played Shantae in the 7 Seas or whatever, 7 Sirens, that came out a while ago. I need to go back and play that. On Your Tail, I like the detective aspect of that game and like piecing together the clues. I thought that was pretty nifty. I did pick up Backpack Hero, which is the roguelike dungeon crawler where you go spelunking or go into the dungeon and bring back stuff to help build up the town. And you're a mouse named Purse, which is pretty cool. Right. And it's been pretty fun. I mean, and it's got I won't say it's got like a steep learning curve, but I mean, you've got to learn in the beginning how to manage because the whole thing's about managing your inventory. It's not just about the dungeons being random. It's about your space. And when you delve into the dungeon, you upgrade your backpack. And I'll talk more about it when we get to what we've been playing, but I've been pretty pleasantly surprised by
inventory management. What people say is the best parts of Diablo and Resident Evil, said no one ever.
Right. But we'll talk about it later. But I think it's a good pick. Blade Chimera was another one. Highland Song looked really good, really charming. And then one that you guys haven't mentioned, or 2 that you guys haven't mentioned that I thought were really neat looking. The first one was Heavenly Bodies, which is like this party game.
Oh yeah,
puzzler set in space where you're like trying to complete simple tasks in 0 gravity.
Yes.
That looks like it could be some good like Overcooked style fun.
But the arms, you control the arms with each joystick.
Yeah.
So that was what I thought was
it's going to be interesting. The other one that I'm surprised, well, I don't know, maybe I'm not surprised people didn't, is the Gecko Gods. That looked really interesting with like the the art style and the climbing mechanism, like mechanics, and you having to figure out your
Well,
way through the
we've also
areas.
we've seen that one before too.
Have we?
Yeah, it
Because
showed up.
I forgot.
I think it
Okay,
showed up last year around this
I
time.
forgot. Um, but that being said, two takeaways that I have from this. I really think indie gaming as a whole right now has a life sim problem.
They need an intervention.
Everything is a life sim. Like almost like when you look at most of these games, all of them have something to do with plan your life, craft the stuff, build your own inventory. And I personally am ready for that bubble to burst. Like I'm like when I look at a game like Blade Chimera, where it's like, this looks like Castlevania, and I'm like, yes, great, because I'm not going to be getting through a level and then being like, go back to the castle and place all your spooky minions around. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't care. Just give me a game worth playing. And yeah.
I mentioned this before to someone else. It was actually Eric from All In. I told him, I said, it feels like, and I don't know if other people can do this, but I feel like gamers can only play one life sim at a time.
Yes.
Like, I could not multitask multiple life sim games or multiplay. It's like I pick my life sim and I'm going to stick with that one. And so I don't see how other, like, there's a lot of life sims out there, and maybe that's why maybe some don't do as well, because maybe a lot of people don't play multiple life sims. They pick one, maybe two. But like,
Yeah,
for me, my life sim is Animal Crossing still. I still play that one. So it's like, if something's got to be really awesome for me to pull me away from that and try to play. And plus, it's like you got to spend like 15 hours alone just to get things started in a life sim, it seems like.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like there have been chasing sort of trends.
Yeah,
I think life sims, farm sims was one of them.
And I think, like with indie games, unfortunately, what happens is that they trend behind, right? Because like Animal Crossing hits, and it's like, oh yeah, this is really popular. We should make a life sim game that does something different. And then it comes out 2 years after that, or 3 years after that, and so I'm not saying that like any of the games look bad, but also, like, there was not a lot here that made me go, oh my gosh, that I've got to play that. Like, I do that almost in every Nintendo Direct, and I do that in almost every indie Direct. So there's always like a few takeaways that I'm losing my mind over, right? Like, oh, I can't wait to play that. This time, even Backpack Hero, which I've enjoyed, I did not go, wow, that is just incredible, And I don't know if it's just because I'm overwhelmed with games right now and overwhelmed with life. It may be, but for me, this it fell a little flat, and so I would say C+ or a C for me. And again, for me, I'm sure there's lots of other stuff that people liked, and that's okay. So yeah,
that makes sense, because we get a lot of great games. So when every game or most games we're getting are great, then something's got to really stand out for people to spend their money or spend their time with it.
Well, I think, and that's a little bit of what we're hearing in the industry in 2023, right? And a great example of this is we have seen some quite significant layoffs across the video game industry in 2023. And I'm going to call, just for example, those of you that aren't aware, about 6 weeks ago, Epic released, I think it was like over 800 employees. Epic, the folks who have Fortnite, are struggling to make money. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is a very interesting place. But what's happened is that the economy around gaming has bloomed, especially around pandemic time, right? We were scaling up. And then in a year of 2023, and we're going to transition to it in a couple of moments, what an amazing segue, by the way, is we have amazing games out here. 2023 has turned out to be one of the strongest games in video game history ever. Well, guess what? We all are limited in time and money. Those are the two currencies that we are all challenged by. So we become selective in regards to where we spend that time, right? And so in a sea of games that are exceptional, like 9s and 10s, if you're in the rating scales, sometimes you don't have time for 7s and 8s, right? And so if you're swimming in 7s and 8s, which there's nothing wrong with 7 and 8 games, but games that would normally be 7s and 8s and get our attention, be like, yeah, it was an awesome time. When you have banger after banger after banger of incredible games, it is hard for you to devote your time to anything else, right? So games that may have had your attention before will not now. And then games as services, because again, time and money, those are dropping off because, hey, by the way, man, I got Spider-Man 2, I got Mario Wonder, I got Starfield, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom. Like the year has been jammers.
And I would say this, that the problem with that too is that causes a large number of people that are video game hobbyists and consider themselves gamers to even look on 7s and 8s with disdain. Like, oh, it's just a 7. Whereas a 7 used to be like, oh man, it's a 7. That's good. It means it's going to be a good game, right?
Like here's it was sort of, and again, I have not played it, and I have not gone through the discourse about this, but Super Mario RPG getting an 8 at a Metacritic right now of 83, 84, which is, again, folks, that is not a bad Metacritic at all.
Nope.
But it's not a 9. It's not a 10, right? So how many people are gonna be like, it's not a 9 or a 10. I ain't pulling the trigger on this. I ain't jumping in, right? I think it's a very interesting challenge that we're currently in the climate of games that we have. And so the discourse and the conversation around it becomes, you got it. How do you stand out, right? How do you stand out and take my time away from something else? And that's a challenge that we sort of have. And I mean, I feel that from I'll step back and only speak about my perspective. I feel that as a content creator, right? Like this year, I was like, man, there's a lot of games that really interest me, but there's a lot of really good games that interest me. Really, really good. And that's where I want to spend that time and energy. I don't want to be sampling. I don't want to be dipping. I want to spend my time in Sea of Stars. I want to spend my time in Disney Illusion Island. I want to finish off Metroid Prime, right? Like, and so that's the challenges that we have. And especially not only are AAA games hitting out of the park, it's been an amazing year for AAA games. As we're going to see in a couple of moments, it's been an amazing year for indie games as well, right? So as gamers, we feasting, but somebody's going to be famished.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be hungry. And unfortunately, these other games end up being the hungry ones.
Absolutely. And so that's like you said, it's a great segue to talk about these Game Award nominations that came out this year. The Game Awards, of course, are a giant award show that airs at the start of every December, hosted by Jeff Keighley, who's a good friend of the show, who has promised me that he's going to come on eventually when he's not so busy and sit and chat with us. But we wanted to run down at least where Nintendo is represented in these awards and kind of set the stage, because if I'm not correct, or if I'm not wrong, voting is going on right now. Am I right? You can go online and vote for these categories.
Yes.
Okay. So
voting went live as soon as the nominations dropped. That's when I placed my votes.
Over to GameAwards.com.
Yeah, thegameawards.com.
Don't go to GameAwards.com because you'll get a blue screen like I just did. It's thegameawards.com and vote. So let's start here with the highlights are Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, let's back up here. 2 banger Nintendo games that are both in contention for Game of the Year were nominated for 5 awards each. Tears of the Kingdom nominated for Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, and Best Action and Adventure, as well as Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which was also nominated for Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Art Direction, Best Family, and Best Multiplayer. Going down the list here, Super Mario Brothers Movie was nominated for Best Adaptation Game of the Year, or for Best Adaptation, I'm sorry. Game of the Year, again, 2 Nintendo releases there are with Tears of the Kingdom and Super Mario Wonder. Best Game Direction, again, Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom. Best Art Direction, again, Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom. Zelda in for Best Score and Music. Innovation and accessibility, Mortal Kombat 1 has been nominated there, which is technically a Nintendo Switch release, and so that's why we're mentioning that. Games for Impact saw 3 releases on the Switch this year. Chance of Sonar, A Space for the Unbound, and Vinba. Best ongoing, Apex Legends and Fortnite. Best independent game saw 4 Switch releases this year: Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, and Sea of Stars. Best debut indie game, again, Cocoon and Dredge and Vinba. Best action adventure game, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Best RPG, Sea of Stars. Best fighting game, 3 games out on Switch: God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, and Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, which just came out. Best family game was pretty much all Nintendo dominated: Disney Illusion Island, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, Super Mario Wonder. Best sim and strategy, Fire Emblem Engage, Pikmin 4, and Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Sports and racing, EA Sports FC 24 and Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged. Super Mario Wonder for best multiplayer, and the Super Mario Brothers movie for best adaptation. That was pretty much it. So let's talk about the thing that's getting the most heat here, which is not, ironically, that Mario Wonder has been nominated for Game of the Year. It's actually what is an indie game? And Justin, you were kind of talking about this before the show. What's going on with this?
Yeah, so if you're following the kind of discourse around the game nominations, this is actually where people are kind of having the most kind of heated battle. And as a reminder, as Marty went through just a couple moments ago, best independent game: Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. Now, the sort of rub about it is, how do we define what an independent game is? Is it the amount of developers who are building the game? Is it the publishing or the, if they're owned by somebody? Again, using the word independent. And maybe, Jesse, can you go over to the Game Awards page? I think they provide a bit of a description regarding like best independent game, with how they categorize it. And
yeah,
so
give me a minute.
The rub of it being here, and I don't want to go too far into this, is that Dave the Diver is from the production company which is Mint Rocket, which is owned by Nexon. When Nexon has 7,000 employees, I believe it is. And so the argument of is Dave the Diver really an independent game? And this is sort of the trouble that we get ourselves into, is in our vernacular regarding video games, we sort of only have it in maybe 3 categories, which is AAA, right? We know what a AAA game is because we can typically say it's from a AAA studio, right? We'd think of The Last of Us, think of Starfield, think of Mario.
And some publishers are wanting to throw out Quad A because they think they're better than AAA.
Yeah, exactly. And then
we laugh at them.
Yeah, and then you have maybe some AA's, right? And we can debate what a AA game may be. You know, that may be something like
The Battery.
Sorry?
It's a Battery.
Oh my god. Boo. AA would be an example. Potentially Borderlands might be a AA game. Trying to think what else might be AA. There was that. Oh my gosh. I'm blanking on it right now.
While you're thinking, the description from the Game Awards website is for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system.
Outside of the traditional publisher system, which then requires us to understand what the traditional publisher system is, right? It's sort of the next level around it. Which the traditional publisher system is, you are not owned by somebody. Right, that is the traditional publisher system, is you're owned by somebody, so you have a bit of a safety net, and in regards to risk of failure, which is part of the independent part of it, right? Now, Mint Rocket being owned by Nexon, there's a pretty big safety net there, right? Pretty big safety net in relation to that.
Yeah.
And so
Nexon has one other release, NDF Duel,
right,
and various DLCs and a season pass that go with it.
Yeah, if you actually look at like Nexon, the actual company, Mint Rocket being a subsidiary of it, and like the amount of money that they make is a lot. Nexon does, right? And so the sort of conversation and language around what it like, how would you define an independent game? How would you define an independent game?
What I've used in the past was like if the developer self publishes and that developer is not part of a corporation. Nintendo self-publishes. They aren't indie.
Right. But like Sea of Stars didn't self-publish, right? Sea of Stars, oh no, did Sea of Stars self-publish? Yes, they did. I apologize.
Sabotage published it. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry?
I think it started off with them self-publishing, and then I think they got other deals to get it.
We'll use this.
Go to the
Dredge
website,
is a great example.
Dredge, it says Sabotage Studios is all it says.
Right. Yeah. Dredge was published by Team 17. Cocoon was published by Annapurna. They're developed by an independent individual or an independent company, but they're published by someone else, right? Publisher and developer are two different people. Developer builds the game, publisher puts the game to market. Right. So right. you can be and Sabotage in this scenario, when they released Sea of Stars, did go independent. When they released the Messenger, that was done by Devolver Digital, as memory serves. Right. So Sabotage is the developer. Devolver would have been the publisher. Right. So the conversation around Dave the Diver is, well, hold on a second, right? Mint Rocket is associated with Nexon, which is a huge, massive conglomerate. And this is sort of the challenge of like, would we categorize Dave the Diver? We categorize Dave the Diver as an independent game for a couple of reasons. It's a small game. Like when you think of an indie game or what comes to mind? Talk to me about it.
So when I think about an indie game, I'm thinking a game that maybe would not get made by a larger publisher.
Yep.
Because they don't think it's going to be a return on investment, because they're investing in a traditional IP or a game as service now.
Yep.
I think about games like when I think about indie games, I think back to the days of Xbox Live Arcade. With like Alien Hominid and Castle Crashers and Shadow Complex, stuff like that. It's like and it's also inevitably, I hate to say this, but I think that one of the things that people think about too is cost, like how much it costs when it comes out, right? And to that end, though, I think that indie gaming has kind of hurt larger game studios, because some of what's classified as indie games are so good and so well done that now they're like, well, if we can get that for $20, why am I paying $59.99 for this? Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered the question or if it's a roundabout thing, but that's kind of what I think about.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: would you consider Sea of Stars? And actually, Tim, I see. The floor will represent the great beard from the state of Minnesota, Timothy Alf.
Oh, excuse me, that's Michigan, by the way.
Michigan. Sorry, I was like, oh shit. And I knew when it was coming out. I was like, it's not right. But I wonder if he's going to let it go. He's not going to let it go.
He never lets it go.
All right. The way I view indie is it's probably not as detailed as what we want to have written out or whatever like that. But for me, in my mind, it's basically one person or a group of people getting together to do a passion project, which ends up being a game. And it's a game that either they need to have pushed by putting it on Kickstarter, or they were able to get it out to someone that says, yes, we will back you to go ahead and push it out. But we'll leave you alone. You go ahead and do your thing over there in the corner. So, and it's usually they're either doing it in their basement or they go rent a place or whatever. It is a upstart essentially, where they're just maybe starting out and getting their feet wet or they're coming, they left a big studio and now coming to do their own thing. and either again on their own or with a group of people like-minded, and they do this game and put it out. Now, how it gets pushed, whether or published, I don't care, but I like the aspect of the story behind it, of that one or group of people saying, this is my passion game. Like the gentleman we had on our show doing the ODR hockey game.
Mhm.
He wanted to do the hockey game. He came on and he had a mission and he went through Kickstarter, and that's how he got his done. But I like that story of an indie game.
And I think when we think of the indie game, right? And so we kind of have to, and I agree. Like I think when I think of indie, like I think a couple things I hear from you, Tim, right? Like sort of like a shoestring budget, right? A small startup company. And we've heard the stories of, it's me and my friend living in the garage and we had to flip the mortgage of my house, right? That kind of stuff. By definition, by the way, Cuphead is a great example of that, right? Now it has ballooned to something completely different.
I've even heard stories of where somebody was working at a big name publisher, and they were not necessarily threatening, but saying, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks notice because I want to go build this passion project. And they were, that's okay. You go ahead and go over here and do your passion project, but you can stay with us.
Yeah.
And that's to me is an indie game because it's their passion project and it's them and maybe a couple other people working on it.
Yeah. And then I think for us as consumers, what we typically see is a smaller price tag associated typically with indie games, right? Typically not a well-known IP, maybe not fully polished, right? The way that you potentially might want it to be. But I would argue that and potentially requiring our financial backing earlier, Kickstarter being a great example. That's sort of, I think, some of the characteristics that we see for an indie game. Now, I'm not to say that we're broad brushing all of these areas, but I think this is a great example. And so my 30,000 foot conversation here is I think that this, like the conversations being had on the online right now. And I know, Marty, you and we talked a little bit earlier about like, just stop whining and let's just enjoy games for the sake of being games. 100% agree. But what we're seeing now is a maturity in the gaming industry and the knowledge of gaming that we're able to begin to differentiate what we mean by qualifications here for indie games, independent games. What are the criteria and qualifications around those things? We have kept big brush strokes about what is an indie game and what is a AAA game. Well, what we're discovering more and more now as there are different ways of bringing games to market, different audiences, different funding models, different publishing models, is that the nuance within those things are very different now, right? So we sort of have to need, I was thinking about recently, there's no gaming dictionary, right? No one has written like, here is what these things mean. And you sort of almost need to begin to find and define properly what these definitions and terms are to begin to sort of have some nuanced conversation about it. So that's really the thing about it. Going back, Mari, to your earlier statement, stop your whining, internet, and just enjoy video games, right? Like that's what we all should just be. And these are all amazing games. Like all of these games are awesome. You should go play them. If you haven't, do it, right? Like these are incredible games. Yeah. Let's just celebrate games. Let's celebrate people's creativity. Let's celebrate the passion of something that we are passionate about and we enjoy. Listen, there's a lot of other things in the world to be angry about right now, but let's just enjoy video games and get off your soapboxes. Yeah. Now that I just went on a soapbox rant for 15 minutes.
Well, that's good. I appreciate it. So those are the nominations. Hopefully you will watch along. The Game Awards are on.
Oh, Tim, what do you got for us?
Sorry, Tim.
Sorry, I don't know if you're trying to push on, Marty, but
I am.
I wanted to see if you guys agree with the Game of the Year nominations. If there was anything that you thought should have been there, or even like, is there anything that should be there? Is there anything that shouldn't be there? Or is there anything missing from this list?
Well, I think the discourse around for Game of the Year, the fact that Starfield was not nominated in Game of the Year and that Resident Evil 4 jumped in there, I think was a big shock to a lot of people.
Right.
I don't have enough knowledge to be able to tell you whether it should or shouldn't be there. Right. Obviously, there was a lot of hype leading up to it. But these are the decisions that are made from what I've, from like my finger on the pulse of the video game community, which I think I'm pretty apt to saying. Baldur's Gate 3 showing up was not a shock. Marvel's Spider-Man 2, not a shock. Wonder, not a shock. Tears of the Kingdom, not a shock. Those other two spots I thought were very open. Alan Wake is sort of maybe a little bit of a recency bias potentially. That
Yeah.
feels like it just squeezed under the limit, right? Like I think you could have seen Jedi. I think in that Resident Evil 4 spot could have been Jedi Survivor potentially. Could have been trying to think of anything else earlier in the year. Maybe I don't know if they consider Metroid Prime 4 or sorry Metroid Prime. I keep saying 4. I'm so sorry. You know, any of those other
Sea of
games.
Stars?
Sea of Stars.
I think Sea of Stars could be.
Sea of Stars could have definitely been there.
I will say this to kind of spin this discussion a little bit, maybe in a different direction. I think that it's probably time for this award show and others to have a category just for remakes.
Yeah.
And like remake of the year. Because at some point, if the trend continues and layoffs continue and the bubble bursts, what are we going to have to play?
Yeah.
Except indies and remakes. And now I'm not saying that remakes aren't significant, but I would say that unless a remake does something absolutely hugely different, you know, like Mario RPG is a great example of this. It's pretty faithful to, you know, what it was originally. On the other hand, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a brand new game. So I think that could be up for Game of the Year, but then there needs to be another category for remake. Because, I mean, I think that they should get their due as well. Remaster or remake.
Well, and there you go, Marty. Like there's the next conversation about the nuance of our industry now, which is what is the difference between a remake and a remaster?
Mm.
Can you point, like, is Metroid Prime, and we'll use that as a anchor to this conversation, is Metroid Prime a remaster or a remake?
Remaster.
Why is a remaster, Tim?
Because it's been redeveloped so it looks prettier, sounds prettier on newer devices, and controls better. Doesn't add any new content.
It didn't add any new game content.
Yeah, no new gameplay or anything like that. It's essentially the same thing, but you got like I already said, better graphics, better sound, better control.
So remaster is we're making it prettier.
We're making it remaster. Like a remaster is like when movies went from DVD to Blu-ray, or when it's like the remastered classic Snow White is back in theaters for a limited time,
or even going back older if you colorizing black and white movies.
Yes, you're not changing the content, you're not changing the story, you're not changing anything other than you're making accessible to current audiences. So what
is Mario RPG?
It's a remaster.
Okay, give me an example of a remake. Why is it a remaster? It's got a new function on it. They've also added a new mode.
True.
They've also added a new battle mode at the end of it.
It's only a remaster because, again, it's still just like it's almost like the same category as fixing the controls of Metroid Prime. You're adding some
you're making it accessible to today.
Yes. So you're adding some functionality to it. It's not changing the story.
I would draw my line is that when they remade Final Fantasy VII, they didn't just make it accessible to today. They created an entirely new game. Was it based on Final Fantasy VII? Yes, but it was an entirely new game.
So talk to me about Link's Awakening.
I would call that a
remaster. Remaster. Still part of the remaster.
So give me a Nintendo example of a remake.
They don't do them very often.
No, I think Mario RPG is a remake with the new levels and functionality that they have added.
Is there a new level?
There is a boss mode at the very end now. This kind of horde. They don't call it a horde or boss.
So I kind of see your point is that there are additions to this. Like I think that the closest thing that they've probably done to that, Justin, in recent memory would be Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Because it added in some functionality that was not there in the original release.
Mecca suggests Fire Emblem Gaiden, which is like a remake of the second game that was released on the Famicom.
That's yeah.
Hambone Johnny makes a great statement. Remake and remaster is not as black and as white as we want it to be.
No,
I
it's
agree
not.
with that, Hambone, but we need to be. But we sort of need to actually make it black or white. We need to be able to identify whether something is a remake or a remaster. And this is the nuance of it, right? This is the nuance of it's AAA or it's indie, right? I understand that, but you need to begin to create qualifiers to really identify when something is a remake and when something's not a remake or a remaster.
And especially, who owns that definition then? Who's going to be the one?
That's the issue. No one does, because we haven't defined it.
But then who owns it though?
Jeff Keighley owns it, damn it, Tim. Jeff Keighley owns it.
To Justin's point, I think it's important because the remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, phenomenon is not going away. There's just because they continue to sell. People continue clamoring for these games. Let's remake. I mean, like, seriously, think back. Here's a great example, Justin. I'll do this. Nintendo does do remakes. Well, maybe not Nintendo per se. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. That's a remake. It's a remake of Pokemon Gen 1. Jesse, check me here. Am I right?
I would say that. It's a
remake.
I would say it's the second remake. There was GBA games that.
But I would say this, like, when to my point I'm making, when Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out, what was some of the first things that people said when they played that game?
These controls are amazing.
No.
Or I don't like
remakes. No, I'm not talking about that. About remakes. Okay. When are they going to remake Gen 2? When are they going to remake Gen 3? When are they going to remake Gen 4? Oh, well, we need a Let's Go Meryl. We need a Let's Go this. We need a, so they're here. They're not going away. So I get what you're saying. It does need to be defined, because then it can be, I think it can be bracketed the right way.
Also, it will be a very interesting conversation, considering if you look into Nintendo's 2024 calendar, we have got 2 games that are coming up that are old. Are they remakes or are they remasters? Who knows? Also, Ninfrendo, I love your statement here. Nintendo dads will create the definition. Follow us on Twitter for a very aggressive thread that I'm going to create about finding out this definition.
I love it.
By the end of this weekend, we will be able to give back to the internet and the gaming world. Here's the official definitions of what a remake and a remaster is in the video game world. Here are definitions and examples. And do not at me, you sons of bees. Go ahead, Jeff.
I like what Mikey Dreamer said. If they take the original source code and tweak it, that's a remaster. But if they have to build new from the ground up, that's a remake. So if by that definition,
that
RPG would be a remake, because it's
that's definitely a good definition.
Unity didn't exist in the Super Nintendo days.
I love it. Well, all right. So here we go. Any more thoughts on that before we move on?
Nintendo says Mario 3D All Stars is great
game,
an emulated mess.
All right. Hey, before we jump on,
no longer available.
Yeah, before we jump onto it, I just want to say, and man, 17 people in the chat tonight right now.
No, more than that.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing 17 on my end. So I want Ms. Sean Capri, I see you in there. Ebicel, that's Laffer. Ninfrendo, we've called out before. Mecha Dragon. Who else is in here? Mikey Dreamer's in here.
Mo Spankins
just showed up, which we absolutely love. Antonio Contronio.
Say it right, Contronio.
Contronio. And he was like,
there's not 2 N's in there.
I will show you.
I'm not the only one who gets stuck up on the.
I know, right? And I see it, and I'm like,
Matt
Hambone Johnny. Yeah.
And Friendo. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
thank you for being here, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about some game release updates and things that we want to are coming out now. Tim, has a look at Hogwarts Legacy up on our YouTube channel right now. That came out on November 14th. So you can go over there and check it out. A lot of fervor and hubbub about what the gameplay looked like and how the game ran. And I'm sure he'll talk about it later in the show. But you can go over there and check that out. Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion Remastered. There's that word again. Also out on November 14th. The Last Faith on the 15th and Flashback 2 on the 16th. And then coming out soon, as in tomorrow or today by the time you hear this audio version, Persona 5 Tactica, which we will have a first look on. Super Mario RPG, which we will have a first look on. Worldless, which we will have a first look coming, is out on November 21st. The Jurassic Park Classic Games Edition. It's out on the 22nd. When you realize that theme is just singing, it's a dinosaur, it's a dinosaur, you'll never watch those movies the same way. Colored Effects is out on Switch November 23rd. We've got a first look coming for that. Also on the 17th, tomorrow, Big Man, Shiver, and Fry amiibos are out for you Splatoon 3 fans. And the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate OLED bundle model comes out on the 19th. And then out later, we have a first look coming for this one too, and Tim is very excited. Steam World Build is out on December the 1st. So yeah.
Can I ask who's doing the first look for Persona 5 Tactica? Is that you, Jesse?
No.
He's just staring off into space. No, he's not.
I was like,
I'm not.
I don't know who's got that game code because it hasn't hit our inbox, but I don't know who's doing that. But all right.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
I was planning on playing that on Xbox.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
I'm just very curious if I missed an email.
Cut out the sign in and all the achievements and just tell them it's on Switch. With that being said, it's time for an ad break from our good friends over at Manscaped.
Folks, support Nintendo Dads is brought to you by Manscaped. That's right. People actually support this show where we have debates about remakes and remasters for over 15 minutes. And also I get on a soapbox about indie and AAA story or games. Why? Because people listen. Hey, of course, big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support. Ready to spice up your Thanksgiving, which is just a week away for our U.S. friends. As we dive headfirst into the mountains of mashed potato and cranberry sauce, let's talk about the unsung hero of the holiday season. Of course, I'm talking about Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. That's right. It's time to go cold turkey on that old razor that you're using. Ouch, don't do that anymore. And take care of your own turkey leg with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Visit manscaped.com. I didn't read the ad read beforehand. God bless him. Head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code.
Justin, the professional voice actor.
NINDADS. Use the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping over at manscaped.com. And and enjoy Thanksgiving in style with a Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Gobble, gobble, boys. Gobble, gobble. NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping.
Let's talk about some events.
I think this one we're leaving in for everybody to hear. This one's got to be left in.
Oh my god.
I will never look at a Renaissance Fair or a Disney turkey leg card the same ever again.
That is such a behind the curtain of like, I don't read the ad copies beforehand.
Oh my gosh. He's crying, y'all. He's crying.
God,
it's good. Everybody needs a good belly laugh every now and then. Hey, so the table is the third Friday of every month. That means it's tomorrow or today as you're hearing this audio version at 10 p.m. Eastern. The community gets together at the table, otherwise known as a Discord voice chat room. How do you get to join? Well, you head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and make sure you're a patron of the show. and you have access to Discord, or you subscribe to us on Twitch, and that also gets with Twitch Prime, and that also gets you access into the Discord as well. And you want to be in there because Retro Rewind this month is Blaster Master Enemy Below on Game Boy, Nintendo Switch Online. So you can head over there and click on the Retro Logic Retro Rewind and be a part of that. Also, just to let you guys know, in November, the Super Mario Brothers Wonder Weekly Wiggler Race is going on over at Dad's After Dark for their events, as well as the KO arenas. And so you can submit your times for those and hopefully win some prizes. And also, remember, you can leave a review for this show by the end of November, and you can get entered into a drawing for a $20 eShop card. It has to be a brand new review. Just go over to your audio catcher of choice, wherever you can leave a review, and you can get entered to win free eShop money. I mean, it's literally it's free. It costs you nothing. It costs us everything. And so
everything.
It costs everything. So yeah, those are our events. And I don't
cost you everything.
I don't see any timeouts this week. So how about we talk about what we've been playing, shall we?
Okay. I actually had a bit of a timeout that I forgot to say. It was more of a rant, and I wanted to know if anyone else suffers this problem. It's actually a parenting problem, legitimately.
Okay, play the timeout bumper, Jesse.
Yeah.
Here's my rant. Put it in the show notes.
Why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that, right?
We put all our stuff in the show notes. Anyway, Justin, the floor is yours. I want to hear about your parenting woes.
I asked anyone. My kids have chores, right? My kids are 13 and 15. They are civilized children. They can care for themselves, right? As a matter of fact, my wife is out at the church tonight, and I'm here podcasting, and I have no concern about what's happening in my house. They are at a part where they are able to survive. They're able to get themselves dressed, to school, clothed, bathe, teeth, all those things. They are pretty functional individuals. They have bank accounts. All right. They are doing great in life. But if I ask my child to load the dishwasher, it's like their brain absolutely breaks. And they don't understand how plates, bowls, Tupperware, utensils fit in a device that is literally designed specifically to hold these things. It is like chaos in my house for a dishwasher. I legitimately think the children open it and just chuck things in there willy-nilly like they just don't care. And then they just slam it. And then they're like, Dad, the dishwasher is full. It's not even partially full. You are monsters in how you stuff this thing. And then they're like, it doesn't come out clean. And then they turn the dishwasher on, and they just ran a 2-hour cycle of 5 dishes. And they're like, it's full, Dad. It's not full. Oh my, like,
doesn't get better at 21 either.
I understand our schools are doing a lot right now. They're doing a lot now. I do feel a little bit better, but
that's what we want for you. That's what we want for you.
Oh, like, I don't understand. And like, there's like, when you unload the dishwasher, which is part of their remit and their chores also, like, you should actually see how the bowls are supposed to be placed.
Can I ask this, since we're talking about kids? Since we're talking about kids and chores, can I throw something out here?
Yeah.
Do any of y'all have and again, I get that, Jesse, you're kind of past this stage, but so maybe me and Justin are just in the pocket right now. Maybe Tim as well. Do you have like a chore list like that's visible?
We do. On our fridge, there's a whiteboard.
Yeah.
And so, and each kid has a different color. And we also have like a big calendar where we know what's going on. And so what I do is every day I just add stuff to, like, okay, here's purple. And so it's right. But the chores are all the same.
Yeah.
But it's just who's doing what.
So eternally, for like the last 3 to 4 years, we've had this whiteboard calendar that my wife, she can erase it. or I can, whoever, we can erase it. We can put the dates on there right now. Full disclosure, right now it says August 2023 on it.
Nice.
So that's how our life is going right now. But it has a space under there with like lines, and we have chores, and we have a Monday. Like here's Isaac's column, here's Annalisa's column. Monday, Isaac, dog. Like make sure the dog gets water. On Tuesday, it's Annalisa's day to make sure the dog gets water and food. And they swap chores back and forth. One day one unloads the dishwasher, one day the other one does it. We don't ask much. Bring your clothes down. We'll do the laundry. Unload the dishwasher. We'll load it back up. Feed and water the dog, and sweep.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's like y'all.
Like and like, and it's also like the hey, could you do this? It's like
or do you get that? Do you get this? It's like the Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, like it's just
or the slow Dad. Come on, just sit down.
And I'm like, you like if you just spend 5 minutes to do this right.
Someone in Mecha Dragon in the chat, here's his comment. Welcome to the Parent Dads. And I say to you, dads is literally in the title of the show.
100%. Literally the second word, right? That's actually why
we're not like Nintendo robots.
Yeah, this is why the SEO literally works as well as it does. Nintendo and dads. Most of our community are dads, right? That's sort of the way this works. I also saw someone else in here. I also saw, what was it? Chris AHL says, Justin is just like me, always reloading the dishwasher. Damn right. And I just get angrier about it. I was like, oh, and I take them out and I have to like redo them as if like when they reopen it, they'll be like, oh, that's how it's supposed to go. Right. But that never happens. Right. Like it just.
Hambo gets it. He said his comment was, I bet I can throw this football over that mountain over there.
Yeah, right. That's exactly it. It's just like
then let's move into the next part of this, because here's like we get it. There's frustration here. So what do you do with that? What do you do with the frustration? Like, especially like, is there a punishment for not doing chores? Does it work? Because it doesn't at my house. Like it just doesn't seem, because here's what we're struggling with right now is that my son feels like because he's working.
The working man.
He's working about 32, 33 hours a week. I mean,
that is a working man.
Yeah. But he thinks that means that when he comes in, he gets to go like Murray Goldberg through the house and just like start shedding items of clothing. And then they just lay there. And then he lays on the couch with his dinner and lays like the plate there, and socks are everywhere, and there's cups and everything. And then he just gets up and goes to bed. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. And tonight I was like, okay, dude, look, here's the deal. Like I know that we have like given you some directions about this. Like we've tried to do better. So can you, like, we can't do this anymore. Like you have 3 days of socks here in the floor.
Yep. My kids definitely do the same thing. Like socks are like everywhere. Like I don't understand why you're doing this here.
Yeah.
The other part I also love, speaking of like the kids who are now working, and Tim and Jesse, you'll relate to this, right? I worked an 8-hour shift. I was on my feet all day. You don't even know what that's like.
Well, yeah, my answer to
you don't even know.
My answer to the kid was working, so he should be exempt from chores. Like, mom and dad work too.
Yeah. I'm like,
doesn't stop us.
I'm like, really? Because dad rolled into the office this morning at 6:30 a.m. Well, you were still sleeping, and worked until 3:30 straight, and then I got up and drove you to the games and picked up dinner and did some cleaning around the house and put the laundry in. All of those things.
Look! I got receipts. I got receipts.
Exactly.
Hey, look! I took you to dance 4 days this week, and now I ask you to pick up your crusty bowl of macaroni and cheese from a day ago, and you're like,
oh, it's the worst. I can't wait till I move out. Neither can I. It'll be amazing.
If my kids ever said that, I've practiced. I'll be like, that can be today.
Yeah.
There's a tent in the closet. Get in the yard.
I have literally walked past my daughter's rooms before and looked in and was like, I think my gaming shelf will go right there. And I think I might actually, you know what? I might paint this black. I think I like that.
I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, when you move out, when you turn 18 and it's time to go, one of your rooms is becoming my inflatable hot tub room.
Yeah. Jody and I are like, we should redo the floors. I'm like, we're not redoing the floors until the kids leave.
That's correct.
Right. When the kids
is
leave,
happening. Nothing is
when
happening.
The kids leave, we will put down hardwood. Absolutely, honey. Until then, because you know why? These kids are monsters. I find just red juice, red juice on a carpet that is beige. Tell me what's not getting out. Red juice.
What's funny is that I'm pretty sure that my son is listening to this right now, and if he is, I want you to know, son, I love you very much. But please, I am for the love of all that's good and holy. Pick up your socks.
Yeah. And my daughters used to listen to this. I don't know if they still do anymore, but I'll tell you this. Frickin' learn how to load the dishwasher for the love of all that's good and holy.
I'm sure there's a TikTok video on it too, or Instagram.
There's probably a TikTok video of some 20-something complaining about unloading. I can't believe I have to unload the dishwasher. I just eat off paper plates because I don't want to unload the dishwasher.
Chris HL says there's a TikTok of a 20-something complaining about working a 9 to 5.
I saw that, and I don't have anything good to say about it.
No.
And so, anyway.
Let's talk about what we've been playing. Thank you for letting me go down this rant because it sat with me. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to
complain about
Justin. Look, before we move on, here's what I want you to do. Look at me.
Yeah, I'm looking.
All right.
Right at you.
Here we go. Take your arms. Big, deep breath. Hold it 3 seconds. Now.
No, not the Karate Kid kick. No.
Wax
Woosa.
Wax off.
Woosa.
No, I just wanted you to take a deep breath. Do you feel better?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had a lot of stress in my life for the last 5 weeks, and it like built to this like tipping point in the dishwasher today. And I was like, I need to get this out somewhere. And God bless the fact that we do a podcast because I am gonna blow up here. But I do feel better. Thank you.
This makes me feel good as a parent. I like to know that other people have this struggle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thanks for just letting me go on this journey today.
You're welcome.
We've had a lot of rants
That's why
today.
That's why we're here.
Oh, I feel good. I feel better.
That's why we're here for you. All right. What have we been playing? Actually, hang on. There was something that I had in the timeout that I wanted to talk about too. I just wanted to see Jesse's reaction.
Love it.
What is he like? We just see him like the chair turns around and he walks into the background and disappears.
I'm done. I am out.
I'm out. Done. Hey, Tim, why don't you tell us what you've been playing this week?
Sure. First off, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, still playing that. I'm got about 3 more lands to clear, 3 more seeds to get, and I should be probably rolling credits. So I'm looking forward to that. It's fun to be able to jump in and clear out a world. So it's pretty cool. Yesterday I was playing it on the big screen TV in the living room, and everybody would walk in every now and then and be like, "Ooh, this looks pretty," and all that kind of stuff. So it was fun to see everybody's reaction, me playing it on the big screen. And it was nice to see on the big screen too. So I've also been playing Worldless. I'll be talking about that again after Thanksgiving, because that's when I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yep. But by the time I can talk about it, the video should be out. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. And then that's again Worldless by Thunderful Games, I think. So Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Hogwarts Legacy. I did a stream of that. So if you want to go rewatch the stream, it'll be under our live category of videos. It looks great, y'all. I like it. It's playing well, and no slowdowns that I could see. It does have less people at Hogwarts than probably the PS5 would show, but I don't know that difference because I didn't play it on PS5. So
right. Can I tell you what the biggest difference I've seen so far from footage online is?
Sure.
It is that when you get to a place like Hogsmeade,
Yes.
Instead of being able to just walk in, you have to like stand at the entrance and push a button, and then it loads, and then you go in.
Yep. Okay.
Which, if you really think about it, is not that big a deal.
It is
right?
not.
It's
It's actually pretty fast load too, because I didn't see any load. I didn't encounter anything yet where it took a long time to load. It was pretty. Yeah, there's a hiccup, but I'm still. It's expected because I'm used to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where I hit a door and something's loaded.
I've just been seeing like out of all the footage I've seen online, that was the biggest difference that I saw, and the density, like the population density. But man, it looks great on Switch.
Yeah,
and I was guilty of thinking there's no way they're going to pull this off, right? But they did. That's
impressive what they did. Whoever worked on that for them, whether it's the same developers or somebody they hired to bring on, I didn't look it up. But whoever did it, they did great, fantastic, and I'm looking forward to jumping into more of it once I hopefully get Sea of Stars done and Super Mario Brother Wonder done too.
Yeah.
So. The eShop page no longer shows the developer, only the publisher. So you'd probably have to go into the game's like about the game information. That's how we found out who developed Mario RPG when the preloads happened on Friday last week. Oh, we could look. Yeah, there's the developer.
I actually think that I'm probably going to like I have this on PS5. And at this point, it's been so long since I booted it up. I'm probably going to need to start it again and finish to finish it. But it was one of those games I'm finding myself playing like Spider-Man 2. That I just constantly get distracted by all of the things, right? Like that you can do. And it's in the case of both of these games, it's not a bad distraction. Like I'm not mad about it.
Right.
Like it's actually really good. And I really thought like I would go back, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to finish this summer. And then this summer was nuts for us. And so the only games I played were on Switch, really. So it just fell by the wayside. It's kind of like Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. It's like my wife and I were like, oh, we're going to find all these kyber crystals. No, we're not. Or all the
thing I really like about Hogwarts Legacy is the feeling you get when you're playing the game. If you love these movies and the stories, it felt like I was in that world, playing the game, getting to know my character, getting to know me as the character, and learning the spells and doing the spells for the first time. It was
a nice touch.
It's a nice touch, and all the little things that it does in the world when you're like walking through Hogwarts, all these little things, all the ghosts that are talking, all the pictures that are talking, all the little things that are flying around that you can catch, or all the little things that open up to you as a character that you discover or unlock. It's just so many little things in there. It's just like, wow, every moment I walked through that castle, it was like, and there's still more of it. I've only walked through like a wing of it, I think. And it was like so much to do and so much just
that was a game for me that fast travel was really important.
Yes.
Because I would find myself lost in that castle.
Right. And then the other thing too I liked about it was, and I think we talked about this somewhere else. I think it was Sam and Shannon and I talked about this with Baldur's Gate, that we wished it did this. But in Hogwarts, you can upgrade what you wear and have it give you abilities, but you can still cover it with things that you like to see. So, and that way you get to keep your abilities, but look cool.
That was
so you basically have like a set of gear for the stats and then a set of gear for the visuals.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will tell you,
I like it when games do that.
The whole gear management system for this game was literally the only thing I didn't like about it. It's so limited. And you know, like it doesn't really give you any directions about it. So like I would be getting all of this gear from doing quests, and it'd be like, you can't hold anymore. You can't hold anymore. You got to upgrade your level. You can't hold him. I'm like,
you need a backpack hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Need a hero.
You're right.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the what I played so far that I'm enjoying, and the story is great too. I like where it's going because you start off as a fifth year. You're like one of the few, if the very first fifth year student at Hogwarts. You don't come in at the first year; you're coming in at the fifth year, but you have some magic experience. So that's really cool. And so you're playing as that character, and you're and finding out about your history and finding out why you can see certain things. So it's a really cool story. I like it. So if you are a Harry Potter fan, you like those stories, you like the movies. I'm not talking about any of the controversy or anything. I'm just talking about the IP itself. Um, if you are a fan of that stuff, if you haven't played this game, you owe it to yourself to play this game, and especially now that it's available on all the systems, you have your choice. But I'm playing it on the Switch for portability factor, so
Yeah,
and it plays really good there. Then, of course, the other game I was talking about earlier with the indie discussion was Howl. I played that just before we started the show and did a video, and so we'll get that out soon. So you'll be able to see kind of like my learning experience from playing the first several board levels on it and figuring out some of the nuances. And there's still even more I have to learn, but it's a first look, first 30 minutes into it. So check that out. And you don't even have to watch that. Like it if you did, but you don't have to because there's a demo. So everybody can go check out Howl themselves in the eShop and download the demo if you're interested in a turn-based tactical grid game using cards. It has a card system that when you get to a certain point, you can decide whether you want to inflict damage by pushing the enemy away into something or hitting it with an arrow or doing both. I learned you can actually do both. I could push it and then shoot it, which I thought was awesome. That was the last thing I learned before I was done. So that was really cool. And there's still a lot more to learn in that game, but I really enjoyed the aesthetic of it too, because they called it, I think, living ink art or graphics, which is really cool. So, and I know Jesse was joking about there's already a tactical game coming out that I want to play, which is Persona 5 Tactics. I know there's that coming out, but if you like your tactics games, you know, you're eating right now. So that's what I've been playing.
all right. Jesse, what about you?
Okay. So, based on your conversations for the last few weeks, I downloaded Suika Game and gave it a try.
Yes.
And I don't think I'm in it as much as you two were. I think like my first game, I scored like in 1600s, and then it took me like until like the fourth day of trying a few rounds a day before I finally hit the 1700 mark. So it was weird that, you know, like the first 2 days, I think I played 6 or 7 rounds, and my best score was the first one. I'm like, that's not how gaming is supposed to work. Anyway, so I don't think it didn't click with me as much as did you guys. So I think I'm done with that one. But you know, for $3, I don't feel like I wasted money.
Sure.
Then I played AstroSmash, which is another of the Intellivision properties that got sold to BBG Entertainment or whatever they call themselves, and then it was supposed to be an Amico exclusive, and now it's just everywhere. And it's in general, I don't like the remakes. I kind of like the original. This one actually did play fairly well. Their take on the spinner, I think, would confuse me the most. I didn't realize what they were, and I'm like, that's got to be the spinner because nothing else is. In the original game, the spinner, you know, if it hits the ground, you lose a life. So you have to shoot it down. In this one, the spinner is like a ship with multiple jet rockets forming a circle. And if it hits the ground, it just fires flames in both directions. So if you're a good distance away, you can survive it. It's not an instant death like it was in the original game. But if you're close enough, and it is a death. in the one thing I found that was kind of cute in the lower right, it shows the life counter. They actually used the original sprite from the 1981 game. So like, okay, they finally had a game that actually had some throwback to the original, other than just being a remake in general. But kind of downsides to it, no D-pad. You had to use the stick, which when a game all you're going is left and right and shooting. Why not let me use the D-pad? Up and down does nothing. So, and then there was no pause. It wouldn't let me pause the game. The campaign has 10 stages. I got into the 10th stage, got to the final boss, and died. And then no way to continue. I had to just start over. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this for another 45 minutes. I think I'm done with this game already. So, but again, so of the Amico remake games that I've played so far, I think this one's the best. But I still would prefer the 1981 original. And I was all these games, I wish they just kind of included like an emulated ROM of after you're done playing the campaign, let's play the original game. It's part of the package, but they don't, and I kind of wish they did. Okay, then finally, I did get a chance to start Super Mario RPG because I bought it from the Japanese shop. I got about just under an hour and a half in. I got the first star. The some things I noticed, for doing the timing for the attack and defense, I have to hit it a little bit earlier than I expect. I don't know if it's just me or the game's running a little bit faster than I'm used to. I don't know if it's a 60 versus 30 frames thing. I'm not sure, but I did get it down enough that I had my combo up to like 36.
Wow.
Yeah, and the triple attack meter, you are able to fire it off before you have 3 people in your party, just to get a power up. It won't really be the triple attack until I have three people in my party. Right now, I just have me and Mallow. And other than that, it's Super Mario RPG with a new, fresh coat of paint. There is kind of an animated cutscene, especially when they introduced Mallow, that I liked, instead of just doing it in engine and having the run around with Croco. And then they have a little bit of, but not as fancy. Whenever you battle a boss, there's a little bit of an animated flair to it before it goes into its battle mode. But it's enough to notice it. But it's not large. Gotcha. And Fredo says, "Pause. We don't need no stinking pause." I need a pause. Well, yeah, I was able to pause it because it's on the Switch. But if I was on any of the other systems playing it, there is no pause. Right, so I'm liking Mario RPG. It will be my weekend game because I'm going out of town, so won't be able to play Tactica yet. So that'll be so.
So you're doing the Tactica review.
I didn't say that. I just said I plan on playing Tactica.
Justin,
after RPG, I might not get the Tactica for another week or two. I don't know.
Yeah. Justin, what have you been playing?
It's coming. One way or another, it's coming.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. You can start to see like the vein pop out of my head, right? I'll give you my really quick lowdown. I play a little bit of Super Mario Wonder. I'm on the 3rd world now, right? Just kind of making my way through. Man, I just love how you can pick up that game for like 30 minutes and kill finish off like 5 or 6 levels. Not 100% necessarily, but you're gonna keep going. And my intention right now is complete it, finish it, and then I'm gonna go back and grab stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's weird. I literally played the game for a week and then was done with it, and you guys are still drip feeding it.
You know what? Listen, since
That's what I usually do.
my life is, I have not done a lot of gaming, if I'm being really honest. Like right now, life is out to my eyeballs.
Yeah, I beat the main game, but I haven't gone back to the special world yet.
Nice. Other game I'm playing is Dave the Diver. Right, that's a on the couch, stop thinking kind of fun game. Currently, I'm getting beat up by a shark, and I need to get the shark's head because I need a special dish I need to make, and I'm super upset right about it right now.
Yum.
Love Dave the Diver. And then I've been playing a bit of Fortnite OG. It was funny actually this weekend. Had a friend come over. She doesn't let her son play Fortnite. Although he was like, Justin, can we play GoldenEye? And I was like, if you're not allowed to play Fortnite, how are you allowed to play GoldenEye? And so I was like, just said to the mom, I said, hey, can we play Fortnite together? And so we got him set up on trios, him, myself, and my daughter, and we all jumped on and squatted up together, and we got some battle royales. In a trio, did we kill 37 people? Yes,
Holy
we did.
cow.
37 people. My kill count was 25.
Yeah, so
How many
we
of those
played
people were
this.
bots? I am sure almost all of them.
Yeah, we
Well,
played
let me
this
tell you.
during Extra Life, and it was me and Ebucel and Beer, and then Friendo, and
Nice.
we were the banana squad. So all of us
Yeah.
had some kind of banana based avatar, and in the we played a couple of squads games, and at one point I think our kill count was in the 30s too,
Yeah.
because we were just driving around on a golf cart, all four of us,
Mm-hmm.
with grenades and rockets blazing everywhere, and we would just roll up on people, and
I knew there was something wrong with it when this kid had never played Fortnite in his life. Him and I just dual squatted up, and we got a victory royale in game 1.
Yeah,
and I was
so
like,
it was adjusting for his level.
oh, for sure. I'm rolling out like 22 kills. He's like, I got 1. I was like, brilliant. Let's keep moving. Right. And yeah, okay.
How much did your level jump up there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I did burn through my tier levels pretty quick. I'm now like 31 or something like that.
Right.
Beer says, come join the banana squad. Beer, I will make you a deal. I will join the banana squad, but I will tell you, the only banana I use is the banana where he is dressed as a spy in a brown twill suit. That is my banana.
Business banana.
Business banana. And I will banana squad you. Banana bros for life. Oh, we need to get a t-shirt made. Nintendo Dad's Banana Bros.
It writes
Banana
itself.
Hammock Bros.
So yeah, that's not it.
That's not it. Nope.
So that's what Justin's been playing. I'm only going to talk about one game. I've already kind of talked about it earlier in the show, and that is Backpack Hero, that's out right now. It was shown during the NINDADS, or the indie showcase, and it's out. And it is a roguelike inventory city builder dungeon crawler mashup, and it's way less complicated than it sounds. Basically, you play as a mouse named Purse, who finds a magical backpack in a dungeon. And that magical backpack has the ability to hold more and more based on how many levels you gain while you're in the dungeon. And then when you come out, it's possible for you to bring some loot out with you if you survive, and you use that to build up the town. And I'm going to guess eventually augment the backpack to not shrink every time that you come out. And so it's pretty intuitive. One of the things I really like about it is all of the different items that are like, they do something with other items, like in combinations. Like, here's this letter, like, and it's like an envelope with a wax seal on it, and it says this moves up one level each time that you use it. So what you could do is but what it does is it adds a damage. Adds some damage to an adjacent weapon. So you trigger it on your turn, and it moves up into a free space if you're able to, and then it adds like 5 or 6 damage to the weapon you're using. So I was able to complete the first run through pretty well, just based on luck, and then I did a second one, and then I just died for the first time. and it's all like, it's very charming. I like the art style in the dungeon is fine. I think I find that when you're in the town, it's a little lacking. It looks a little just lackluster. It like it very much reminds me of like old school NES Dragon Warriors type art style. But all the little sprites are like one block high, like about the size of like little Mario.
Sounds a little bit like Loop Hero. Is that a fair context?
It can be, because you do come back and you do improve your camp, or you're building up the city that used to be great. But also in that, like I would say, there are some similarities, but the mechanics of like combat and defense are way different than Loop Hero. In Loop Hero, you're placing buildings and placing things around the loop. In this, you're actually managing your inventory. And one of the things that happens during the game is, as you're fighting enemies, they might drop a weapon, and it'll be like, if you reorganize your backpack right now, you can get this and put it in there. But the trade-off for that is, if you choose to reorganize your backpack in the middle of a fight, you lose all of your turns for that round. So like your character has like 3 actions, and each little thing in your backpack can cost 1, 2, 3, or however much, even 0. Like you have some 0 cost actions. So you're gonna have to manage your actions versus your inventory, versus what you see the enemies are gonna do. Because like there's ways that you can negate all the damage that you take during a round, because of a shield you have, but you have to use your actions to shield yourself and not attack. So it's actually, you have to sit and kind of think about it. And I don't know, it's kind of relaxing to me. It's a different take on a roguelike, which I love. And so I think everybody should check it out. And it's like, y'all, I think right now it's $17. So it's not like a huge, it's not like Suika Game at $3. But it's still not a huge investment. So I think you should check out Backpack Hero. That's what we've been playing. Let's turn on the community spotlight.
Do it.
All right, let's get talking about the questions that we got from the email. Scott Remick asks, every time I hear Justin comment in his noisy Switch fan, I find myself screaming at the podcast. This is such a trivial fix. It's ridiculous that he'd considered needing to replace the whole thing. Just open it up and use a can of compressed air to clean out the fan. In fact, you might be able to clean it out sufficiently without opening it. Just blow air into the vent. Hell, just Justin will cover shipping. I'll do it for free and even repaste the heatsink while I'm at it. What the heck's the matter with you, Justin?
First, I don't appreciate the tone and attitude that's being used or indicated in this email, Scott. Second, at what point during my 9 years podcasting have you built the understanding that I am an intelligent, reputable individual regarding technology? All right. What point? What point did that happen? Because I'm going to tell you, it's not me. Yeah, I do appreciate your comment here. I am a bit of an ass for not doing this myself. 100%, I could just get the compressed air and shoot that down the vent. And actually, that's a really great point. I didn't even think about doing that. Why? Because I'm just a simple man, Scott. I don't know these technical things, but I'm going to do that and see what happens there. But I will tell you, I did watch some videos in regards to taking the back of the thing off and giving a bit of a clean if need be as well. So, man, I appreciate you not judging my competency and skill. And that was definitely didn't feel judged at all in this email. I definitely felt like it came from a place of love and grace, which I appreciate. So thank you, Scott. And I look forward to your follow-up email for my comments on this as well. Thank you.
All right, from the Discord, starting with Sparky, he says, hey, all, just a quick note to say that I'm loving the show week in, week out. I have been a listener and Patreon for many years now and still look forward to the show each and every week. I don't get too much opportunity to post comments on the Discord, but I'm out here listening and soaking it all up. Keep up the great work, team. Have a great weekend.
Oh,
That's very kind. Thank you.
thank you so much, Sparky. I appreciate that. Before we get into this next question, can I just say, can we are we doing all of these?
We'll get through them.
Okay.
We'll get through them. All right. Mecca asks, what will come first, the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie or the live action Legend of Zelda movie that was announced?
Live action Legend of Zelda. Moving on.
Yep.
Next question.
Yep.
I don't think Miyamoto will be working on more than one movie at a time. So yeah.
They might surprise us, but
All right. While I asked that question, while I posted or said that question for Mecca, if Mecca's still listening, hopefully you got that answer. And I would like to know if you did, Mecca, because that will determine whether I ask your next questions or not. Next up, Darth Platypus. Any big Thanksgiving traditions? And for the non-Americans, do anything fun on Thursday in November? And Episode says, we usually go to Christmas tree picking, cutting down on Black Friday, Saturday after, and Zablanc says putting up Christmas decorations.
So
I'll tell you go ahead, Marty.
A few years ago, my wife's family hosted a foreign exchange student from England for a year, while her youngest sister was still in high school. It was like a high school exchange student program, right? And so they were looking for a host. They hosted Tam, who was from England, and she introduced us to Christmas crackers. And we're doing those at Thanksgiving this year because our whole family can't be together on Christmas. So we always put
like saltine melted butter chocolate.
No, Christmas crackers they're a cardboard tube, and they look like toilet paper rolls, or some of them are pretty ornate, but most of them look like cardboard paper, like toilet paper rolls, like joined together. And the two on the end are hollow, and the one in the middle is filled. And so there's a little tab on the inside, and you put your thumb in there and grip it, and with your person sitting next to you, you pull on them, and there's like a pop or a crack sound. And whoever gets the larger side gets the prize that's inside, which usually consists of a joke, a crown. Tissue paper, crown, and some little gadget toy or something, like you put together a little bicycle or a little stretchy man, or sometimes it's like a key ring or something like that.
I'm sorry. Can I just take a quick pause here? Y'all don't have Christmas crackers in the U.S. very much?
We do now. We do now, but I mean, I never knew this until she.
Jesse, you never experienced Christmas crackers beforehand?
No, what I was thinking was we call Christmas crack, which is like, a dessert made with, as I said, saltines and chocolate.
Now I like that too. Yeah. But
Tim, no?
You all are crackers.
Tim, you never had Christmas crackers?
Nope. I was thinking this is interesting. Ritz crackers or something. Crackers.
It's interesting. The people in the chat here are saying no. Ebisel saying no, it's a UK thing. I wonder if it's a Commonwealth thing, Ebisel, because Christmas crackers in Canada are quite common. Like you go to Costco and you get boxes of Christmas crackers for Christmas time, right? You'd always have
them. Yeah, I'd never seen them before.
Chicken and a biscuit.
Now, Justin, I know where I can go find. They have them at discount stores around there, like Ross and TJ Maxx and things. They'll have them, and they do. They're just not I feel like that. You're probably right. They're not as proliferated. But the other Thanksgiving tradition that we have is fried turkey. I will not eat anything but fried turkey on Thanksgiving. I'm sorry.
Triscuits?
No. Those are nasty.
I'm just trying to think of all the crackers, that it could have been.
Let's move on. We've broke them. Anybody else Thanksgiving traditions?
Yeah, we don't really have anything that we do year over year. We sometimes we host big party. Sometimes we host 5 people. I think this year we are having mother-in-law come down. So we'll have at least 4 people. Depending on if our daughter visits or not, then it'll be up to 6. Sometimes my wife, instead of, I don't know, she might do this for Christmas. I don't know but we did buy a turkey for this year. But what she's done in the past is made like Christmas turkey wreaths. So it's out of a pastry has filled with turkey and other ingredients. And instead of making a big old turkey, if we're only going to be here like 3 people, that's a waste. So that worked out. You just slice it up and fork and knife it, and works out nice.
That sounds actually really good.
Our big Thanksgiving thing is just to be able to go hang out with close family friends and their family. They invited us over because we just used to, like, our family didn't do Thanksgiving anymore on Thanksgiving because they all kind of spread out and did their own thing. So our friends invited us over during their Thanksgiving and said, "Hey, you guys aren't doing anything. Why don't you come on over?" So that's been a new tradition, and that's been our new big Thanksgiving tradition.
I was going to ask this. How many people, Jesse's already kind of said this, but Justin and Tim, how many people do you expect to be in your house on Thanksgiving? Or how many people did you have in Canadian Thanksgiving?
Our family is 4, and we will always invite over some other family or my mother-in-law, and so anywhere between another 6 to 8 people would kind of be common for us. Us plus another family or couple.
I can see, the way Tim's looking is like we need all those math equations flying by.
Yes, 10 or 11, I think, is in the house where we go to usually.
Okay. Well, it's at our house. In this year, we're looking at somewhere between 17 to 20 people.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
you have my in-laws. That's 2. You have my family's 4. My wife's sister from Texas they're 5. My wife's other sister who lives on the same property they're 6. And then her sister that lives in Texas, we usually invite her, the guy she's married to, we invite their parents. And nice. Then we'll have 1 or 2 people from our area, like that we're connected to, that maybe don't have family or whatever. We'll invite them to come celebrate with us.
That's pretty cool. Nice.
It's very hectic.
Yeah.
What food would you say doesn't belong on the Thanksgiving table?
Cranberry sauce.
Okay.
All of it, bring it. I don't care if all of it's there. So I don't think there's anything that shouldn't be there. Bring it all. I'll eat it all.
I will say something that I have not had, but just sounds gross, is candied yams.
Or potatoes.
Marshmallow sweet potato.
Oh, no, that's one of the best parts.
Casserole. I will say this, and we'll move on very quickly. Nothing green. Get it out of here.
You don't like green bean casserole?
Nope. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, green bean casserole.
Salad.
Get it out of here. It's waste. It's a waste.
Nice.
In fact, I will post on the Nintendo Dads Twitter tomorrow the tier list from Tier Maker that I just made of Thanksgiving. It doesn't go A, B, C, D, E. It goes the bottom one is I'm not even looking at this, and then the top one is if it's not there, I'm leaving.
Nice.
I will do that.
And the question was, for non-Americans, do you do anything fun on Thursday? So interestingly enough, for those who don't know, I have been working for an American company for almost 20 years. So as a Canadian, so traditionally we would actually have your Thanksgiving off. And Jody and I actually worked for the same company for quite a long time. So what we would have is we'd have a random Thursday off. And so like our kids would be in school. So her and I would go do all of our Christmas shopping on that day, essentially, right? We go down to the mall, kind of do our Christmas shopping. Interestingly enough, that is also when you'd see every other employee from that company, because they all had that Thursday off. We all went Christmas shopping, essentially. But now she's working for a different company, but I'm still working for them. For me, it's actually like for business, it's like super quiet this coming week, obviously. And so I'll probably work one of the 2 days just to get some work caught up from other stuff. And I'm actually going to take the Thursday off and just probably chill at home. And I've got to actually go get our passports renewed. So I'm going to use this as a little bit of a day off, but not celebrating the traditional way. But I will say, as a plug for this, we're not doing a traditional podcast next Thursday, right? Because everyone here is in Thanksgiving, except for me. I'll be doing a solo show. So, hey, this is a little bit of a plug. It's a Justin solo show. I need content. Please email me whatever questions, rants, or opinions you'd like me to talk about during the show. Because, by the way, next week Nintendo is also traditionally very quiet also. So please feel free to help me with content.
I love how when you said it's a Justin show, my mind went to Mario. Like I'm not thinking it's literally a Justin show. Nope, it's a Justin show.
Nice.
Sorry.
Nice. That's all right.
Another couple questions in regards to Thanksgiving. What's your favorite side main dessert to eat at Thanksgiving? Alan says mine is broccoli cheese casserole, dressing, not stuffing, and pecan pie.
Stuffing,
what kind of pie?
Stuffing and pumpkin pie.
What kind of pie did you just say, Tim?
Pecan pie.
What?
Pecan pie.
Pecan?
Pecan?
Yep. Pecan.
Pecan. A pecan is what you go to after you eat.
Do you like pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
That's what the Amazon drivers use.
Out of those, if I had to eat one of those two, it's pumpkin pie.
That's what beer asked.
I'm telling you what mine is, and I've mentioned this before, I think, is pumpkin dump cake.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a better name for it. My mother-in-law tries to call it pumpkin cobbler because she doesn't like to say the word dump. And then we say
pumpkin and cobbler don't sound well together, but
well, at least sounds better than dump.
You make it upside down. So crushed nuts on the bottom, pumpkin, and then a yellow cake mix with butter poured over the top. And then when you bake it, you flip it out and you dump it like upside down. So and then
crushed nuts.
Then you put I know. I'm sorry. We're all junior hires.
Could you tell the difference in a blind taste test between a pumpkin pie and a sweet potato pie?
Yes.
I've never had sweet potato pie.
The dessert is my contribution. I always cook, and it's always at least a pumpkin pie. Sometimes I make a second dessert on Wednesday. That way I can just say, I'm not in this kitchen on Thursday. Have fun.
I'll throw this in here. Can I tell you what my favorite post-Thanksgiving treat is? Is when my father-in-law takes the leftover dressing that has it's cold, so it's like it's malleable, and he rolls it and then puts it into a pan and fries it.
That sounds good, but we never have leftover stuffing. It's the first thing to go out. It's the first thing to go.
How do you prefer your turkey? Oven roasted, deep fried, or smoked?
Deep fried.
I've only done oven roasted, but I love the idea of a smoked turkey. And I got a smoker, and Jody and I talked about doing that. We just never did it.
Deep fried turkey injected with Creole butter and seasonings.
I've had fried turkey once, like 25 years ago, when I still lived in Minnesota. My work did that like the week before Thanksgiving for the employees. But and I did enjoy it, but that's again 25 years ago was the last time I had, so I don't have a modern example. So roasted is what I'm used to, but I wouldn't be opposed to going frying again some year if
you
my wife was brave
know
enough
how
for
to do it, because you can kill people with a fried turkey.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you don't thaw it out, it will explode. It's not good. So we don't want that.
Koopa Kid 80 says, what do all the dads have to be thankful for this year, and what does Thanksgiving mean to each of you? And he also says, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all so much for the wonderful content again this year. Thanks for the opportunity to be on the show with Kelsey, and from my family to all of yours and to all of this great community. Happy Thanksgiving.
Wow.
What do you have to be thankful for this year, gentlemen?
Sometimes I wonder, about how stable my job is. So I'm still happy to have one after, my current, I've had my current job for 23 years. It'll be 24 in March.
Wow.
Because, over the years we've had multiple waves of layoffs in when the economy wasn't great. Of course, we talked about layoffs in the gaming industry earlier this episode. So, I think I'm in a good place if we have another round. But again, obviously it's not my call. I don't even think it's my supervisor's call. This call would come 3 steps above his head. So who knows what could happen. So yeah, I'm always thankful to still have the career I have to be able to provide for my family.
Yeah. There's a lot that I've got to be thankful for. I was thinking the other day that like this time last year was so different than this time this year with Dad just passing away and stuff. And so I'm thankful in one way that like all of the firsts are over with so that we don't have to go through that anymore. It makes me even more thankful that I get to spend Thursday with my bonus dad with my father-in-law. And get to spend it with my family. And yeah, like just this is a great outlet as for me to get to come and talk about something that I love. And I'm still thankful that people like actually listen. Like that blows me away, that people support us and people listen. So there's just a lot to be thankful for. I honestly could ramble for a long time on it, but I'm not going to.
Justin.
Yeah. I will try and get too sentimental or soft. I'll say, like how roof over our heads, food in our bellies, health, family, just the amazing opportunities that I, even as I look back in 2023, I've done 3 or 4 just trips with the family, the mobility that we have to travel as a family, to do that effectively and together and experience things together and not really be concerned financially in regards to how that impacts us, and just being able to do that and having those getaways is pretty special. Just good friends, good conversation, right? Being together. And I think just, yeah, there's so much to be thankful, for. I mean, if we're to be very specific about like this, this avenue where we are right now for Nintendo Dads, is just being thankful for just our community. And man, I just like the amount of people that showed up today and had a conversation, the amount of people that are engaged in our conversation and want to have chats with us and send in emails. And yes, I just yelled at Scott for his statement, but like, it's all in fun and all in jest. Right. And so also just the amount of people who support each other in this, right, man, we're pretty blessed in the fact that the 4 of us get to hang out together and just have fun. Right. So we're pretty fortunate to do these things. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to say anything different either, because I mean, I'm thankful for all of those things. And also, I guess one thing I'll say that's a little bit different, I'm thankful for Sammy's school and teachers because of helping him through. He's been in the Livonia school system all his life. And that's one big reason why we didn't want to move out of it. They've been there for us to help guide us in ways, and then help him guide him through his, his needs and whatever. So whatever you want to call it, neurodivergence and all that kind of stuff. And he's getting older and struggling to figure out his things too. And it was kind of funny. Funny kind of tear to your eye type of thing. He sent us a message while he was in school. He said, "Do I have ADHD?" That label that, that's an easy label to say, but it's a lot more to it. But and the message was like, my wife was like, "Yeah, why do you ask?" And he's like, he was trying to get our attention. He put this little sad emoji on there too. Like he was like, "Why do I have it?" And so we were like, we'll talk about that later when you get home. We won't talk about it in chat here, but his school has been there for him, and his teachers, keep in constant contact with us about certain things. And so I'm very thankful for teachers like that, and parapros and assistants, all those people in that center who help not just Sammy, but all the kids who have needs like Sam or more, that go into the school day in, day out and help our kids become functioning members of society, if you will, because their minds work differently than you would say than others that function in the society. You could probably argue that for some people, but that's I am fully thankful for that.
And very often don't get the acknowledgement, right? Or the
the
respect or admiration or funding, right? To be able to support those things effectively. That's a great call out, Tim.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So, all right, that was a lot of the Thanksgiving stuff that I could see that I could get out of here. So I'm going to cross out those things, and then I'm going to leave these other questions for you, Justin, for the next show.
Yeah. Well, good content.
I think there's a Mikey Burgett question.
Mikey Burgett.
No, wait, not beer. Mikey Burgett.
No, hang on. This Mikey Burgett question.
What?
Justin ain't gonna know how to answer this.
All right. Well, wow, that's hurtful. What's Mikey's question?
He's not.
All right. Well, Mikey Burgett asked, in the last couple of months, we've had video game themed pro wrestling matches, including this week's Like a Dragon street fight. If Nintendo were to sponsor a pro wrestling themed match, what game franchise would be best for it?
Yeah, because I know I'd have no idea.
A Splatoon themed ink wrestling match.
Ooh, okay.
Or Goron sumo wrestling.
You know what, Marty? Very rarely am I like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay, you know what, Marty, you got me. All right, yeah, you're 100% correct. This question was best left with the wrestling pro, Mr. Marty Estes on here. So, yeah,
Woo! I knew it was coming. Yep. Yeah. So just a full disclosure, AEW last night they had a sponsored match that Sega sponsored, a Like a Dragon. What is the name of that game? It's Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name or something like that. It's a brand new release.
It's the newest game in the Yakuza series.
Yes. And so it was a 4-on-4 street fight that they made six figures for. Sega paid them that much to promote that game. Wow. And it included a spot in the match where a man rode down to the ring on a bicycle and hit people with a lead pipe as he rode the bicycle around the ring. Then he got clotheslined off the bicycle, and it was fantastic. That's why I love pro wrestling.
I'll also throw this out.
You gotta go look it up.
It's a tech question from Mecca. How can I survive my first tech job?
All right, Jesse.
Well, it depends on what the job is. Do you have the knowledge to do it? I know, like, going back to what I said about having a job, like if I try to get another job, I'm behind in in the tech stack of what people are looking for today. So, but I know what I need to know for my current job. So it's weird. So, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you're being asked to do.
It's basically stay on top of be always open to learning. And that's probably going to be for any job anyways, but always be open to learning. Because certifications always help, especially if you find a route in the tech industry you want to go, then you find out if there's certifications that you can get in those areas and then apply it to especially tech jobs and go down that path. And then that way that certification can be added to, help you along the way. But learning job is
because my career route was backwards compared to what most people are today. When I got my job, I didn't have a degree, but then I since got I got my the undergrad and my master's while I was working. So from today's point of view, it looks like, oh, I've got all this stuff, but I didn't always have that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say that like they have said, be willing to learn. Leaders are learners, and if you ever stop learning or stop trying, you stagnate in your job, and that's a great way to become inept and get fired. And that applies for anything.
Yes.
Also, surprisingly, acting like you know how to do what you're doing goes a long way. So even if you don't know how to do it, act like you do, and then go to Google.
I believe the terminology there is fake it till you
Make it.
make it.
Yep.
But
That's what I would do.
Yeah, there's a fine line there too, because you don't want to
Oh, sure.
sound like you know everything. No, I agree with what you're saying there.
Like if you're working on a nuclear reactor, you probably need to be sure that you know what you're doing.
Yes.
If you're fixing
But
printers,
only maybe.
you can fake it till you make it.
Yep.
Right. So since I forgot to add it to the events, I'll throw this out here now, a little plug. Since we're talking about tech, we're going to do our the second annual Advent of Code challenge. If the website is adventofcode.com, if we have a room set up in our Discord to talk about it, we have a private leaderboard of just the people we want to invite. So if you want to be involved, find that room, find the pinned post, and you can get on that private leaderboard. The problems start coming to us daily starting on December 1st until the 25th. And I'm going to try to keep on it up until the problems get too difficult for me to do. I think last year it was around 15th, 16th where things really started getting weird. But, even if you can't solve a puzzle, you can still come back the next day and try the next one. I think I did get one of the two puzzles done on the 25th itself. So, but they normally start out easier and get harder as the month goes on.
And I was just told to look into using Cypress. So I'm going to be looking at that and learning a new tool for writing scripts and writing automated tests.
I don't know what that is. So that's something new to me too.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I'm scrolling through
anything
Facebook.
anything you just said. I don't.
All right. There is
So-
actually just one more question. Let's get that out of the way, and then we'll have clean, fresh set of questions for Justin next week, hopefully. So
Okay.
last question is I just discovered Jasant on Xbox Game Pass. That's from
That looks
Kid
so
80.
good.
Chill climbing a mountain game is what he said, and have been having a great time. I think also Sean and Nick talked about this game, Nick especially. and
Blanco, I
others.
think, talked about it as well.
Yeah. I was just going to say him too. So what game do the dads like to play when they need to kick back, zone out, and relax on the couch? Again, that was from Koopa Kid 80.
Power Wash Simulator, Pixel Lines 2, and now Suika Game.
Suika.
Yeah, for me, if there's a Picross game that I haven't completed yet, that's normally my first go-to. And then a non-Nintendo answer is, I'll hop into VR poker on the PlayStation.
I would say for me, it's probably right now it's a game like Dave the Diver, right? Where it's just sort of like just that loop of fish, catch, go make sushi. Moonlighter was very similar to that. It was go into the dungeon, kill animal or enemies, get loot, sell loot, make stuff, right? So it's kind of a loop. Animal Crossing used to actually be that for me, right? Like
That's what it is for me right now.
Yeah, that used to be my thing for sure. The
Cool.
45 hours I put into Animal Crossing.
That's probably one I go to too easily because of I'll just sit back and start goofing around in there and relaxing, and then it's like, oh, I just was in here for 3 hours or 2 hours, and I could have been knocking out something else.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, guys, that is episode 453. We want to thank you for hanging out with us this week on the Nintendo Dads podcast. As we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers. That's Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, RJ Kern, as well as our other 90 plus patrons. And if you want to be one of our patrons, you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and get in. You don't have to be a producer. Hey, they're the $30 a month bigwigs up on the penthouse floor. But hey, even $1 a month helps. And so you can jump in for $1 a month or the $5 or $10 tier over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Also, a huge special thank you to our 16 Twitch Prime subscribers and over 1,400 Twitch followers. And this number just keeps climbing, guys. 7,147 YouTube subscribers. We would love to see that bump
Still
on
got time to get to 10,000.
Yep. Well, by the end of the year. Let's do it. I don't know.
By the end of the year.
Basically, what we want to say is thank you, everybody. Whether you listen to the show, support us on Patreon, subscribe on YouTube, whatever you do. If you're here, we appreciate you. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. Be sure to check out our website, nintendodads.org, for Spotify podcast feeds for all of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts, including Dads After Dark and all of the Retro Logic podcasts, like Retro Logic on Topic, Retro Groove, and Film Logic. Our latest YouTube videos and tweets are over there, as well as all of our social media and merch page, including the soon-to-be-released All Elite Dads t-shirt. And you can go over there also and get your Nintendo Dads World Order original or Wolfpack varieties if you would like to rock one of those. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, manscaped.com, where you can get 20% off your order and free shipping with the code NINDADS, NINDADS. Or check out HelloFresh.com and use the code 50NintendoDads to get 50% off and no shipping on your first HelloFresh box. I promise you will love the food. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And reminder, wherever you download us from your favorite podcast catcher of choice or service, please go in, leave us a 5-star review and some comments. And if you do that for the first time this month, you'll be entered to win a $20 eShop card at the end of November. For me, for Justin, for Jesse, and Tim, this has been episode 453. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, because next week we eating turkey, baby. It's Thanksgiving. We gonna tear it up, baby, like getting hit with a bicycle at ringside. Hit the plunder out from under the ring. We'll see you next time, baby.
That's the Justin Show. Goodbye.
Check you later, people.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
You gotta get your together. You know what I'm saying?
Soundwave Superior, Constructicons